Great skills again by him. Oh, marvellous goal by Lundgren.
Welcome to the Rangers Journey.
Yes, good evening. It is me, Andrew. You are listening to the Rangers Journal live. It is Wednesday, the 4th of February. It's 6:30pm and we are an hour and 15 minutes away from kickoff at Ibrox versus Kilmarnock, where we have a fantastic opportunity tonight to have a game in hand and hopefully leapfrog into, I say leapfrog, we're pretty much joint second, but it just gives a little bit of breathing space into second place. And to discuss this Kilmarnock game tonight, first of all, it's Billy joining us. How you doing, Billy? You well?
Yeah, mate, I'm fine. It's nice to have a game on. I like a Wednesday night match. Compare it to the European nights of a Thursday. I like a good league game under the floodlights, if that makes sense, at the stadium. So, yeah, looking forward to this. I'm just hoping that we put in a better performance than we did at the weekend.
Yeah, I think we will learn from that. I hope we'll learn from that anyway, but we will touch on a couple of our new signings that might be able to help us tonight. But yeah, good to have you on, Billy. Next of all, Stevie, long time no speak. You doing well, my friend?
Hi, Andrew. Hi, lads. Yeah, very well, thanks, mate. Looking forward to tonight. It's feels like a huge game. Really does, especially after Sunday. So yeah, I'm quite nervous, excited, pretty much everything you expect. So yeah, fingers crossed it all goes to plan.
Yeah, there is an emphasis now, isn't there, around every game is a cup final. It's that old cliche, and it is so true. There's about 14 odd games left, and every one of them at every point is a prisoner at this stage. So yeah, definitely, Stevie, I do share your thoughts there. And Dino, how you doing, mate? You looking well?
Yes, and you, thank you, my man. I'm hoping it's a direct performance tonight, to be quite honest with you, and sustain it for about 70 minutes. Really put the foot in the neck. That's what I'm wanting tonight.
I agree. Nice and easy. 2 or 3 up by half time would be lovely, Rangers. We don't do it often enough. We haven't done it really often enough over recent years. So that's, I hope, something that we can do tonight. I do share your thoughts with that. And then we can kind of rotate a bit and bring other players into the second half. So I do totally agree. Before we get into it, obviously when the team sheet comes out, we will put that up and we'll be discussing the team.
I'm just getting it just now, Andrew. I'll have it uploaded for you shortly.
Look at that. Hot off the press. The pixels are still red hot. But just before we go to the team sheet, don't forget tonight's pod is proudly sponsored by the good guys over at the Bluebells Bar, Puerto del Carmen in glorious Lanzarote. So when you're over in the sunny Spanish Canary Islands, you'll find a warm welcome at the only Rangers bar in Puerto del Carmen. So it's family friendly, eat, drink, chill or party, and they do show every single Rangers game live. So it's nothing better than watching the Bears in the scorching heat. So when in Lanzarote, do pop in and say hi. And I imagine the weather in Lanzarote right now is probably much better than it is in Aberdeen currently. Those pesky Masons. So yes, let's have a little look. So we do have the team. The team is out. We're just sourcing that now. Don't forget, guys, we've got an Etsy store. I'm wearing this fantastic Rangers Journal hoodie. You can own one as well. Just head to Etsy and type in the Rangers Journal, or one word, and you'll be able to get that. Now, I put a poll out on the Ibrox channel, as I do on game days, just to kind of gauge from everyone how everyone's feeling going into this. And 50 people voted, and 94%, now obviously it's a Rangers podcast, so it's going to be a little bit more biased towards Rangers, but 94% reckon it's a Rangers win, 0% reckon a draw, 0% reckon Kilmarnock win, and 6% went for the random one, Finlay Curtis loyal. So there we go. And here is the team. So it is Jack Butland in goal, James Tavernier with the armband, Dija, Suter, Magoma, Raskin, Diamande, Asgard, Moore, Gassama and Majovski. So we can see there on the bench as well. We have Aaron's Romans is on the bench. Kieran Wright, Kelly, Chucky, so that's Chukwani, Antman, Bajrami, Scovolson and Nadiri, the new main man. So Billy, I'm going to come to you first. Is that a good team for you? Is that the team you'd go with? What do you think the idea behind that one is tonight?
Probably just to get a few players some kind of rest as well. Fernandez isn't in the starting lineup, so Giga comes in with Suter. not my first choice, but it shouldn't really be a problem against Kilmarnock. But we hope. I don't want to be disrespectful to Kilmarnock, but I expect us to be attacking an awful lot of the game. But the good thing for me is a few of the guys on the bench. Antman's back on the bench. Nadiri, obviously, want to see him this evening, and Romans. I would like to see him a little bit this evening. So if they players are on the bench, it means they're ready, hopefully, to come in full time. First team players. That's what we signed them for from the weekend onwards. But obviously, they need to kind of bed their way in. I mean, Nadiri might not even have had a training session. You never know what the way things have been like. If he has, it's only been one. So I don't imagine he'd be thrown in. He generally don't get thrown in. I know Ant-Man was in his first game, but no, I'm happy enough. I hope there's a few players in there like Diamande and Asgard that need to show a bit of dig. That's what they certainly seem to be lacking. But I think, Miovski, what else can you really do? His only real option, isn't it? Danilo's away. I don't know what the issue with Chimiti is. Is he still injured? Is he just not in the squad? But happy enough, mate.
Yeah, that is an interesting one, isn't it, Dino? Obviously, Chimiti completely out of the squad at the minute. Maybe there is something that we might find out possibly maybe before kickoff or maybe after the game in the post-match presser. But Dino, Majovski up top, do you think this is a good game for him? Kilmarnock not been doing too well. Do you think this is a game where he could get a couple of goals?
It's a possibility with better players slightly behind him, if I'm being quite honest with you. Just got the inkling that the game's not going to be relatively fast. Just hope that Moore does have his 1 in 7 good games tonight. I think we're going to be really needing that. But Miovski has to stay in and around the box, something that Chimiti doesn't do. Miovski obviously doesn't do it quite often, but we need him to be staying in and around the box. And not with his back to goal, because that's not his strong point. But like you said, I don't think the team lineup we should be particularly too concerned about getting a result against Kilmarnock. But with the other guys on the bench, the 4 new signings, so hopefully they can come on and make an impact in the second half. But I'm not expecting us to be all guns blazing, put it that way.
There's a comment coming here from Paul, Stevie, saying Sterling in the fan zone apparently. So I take it Sterling might be injured for this one, or maybe there is just a bit of rotation. Maybe some players are being rested. What do you think, Stevie? Is that wise for this one?
Yeah, that's what kind of jumped out at me. There's no Sterling, obviously, Chimiti, Manny Fernandez. That's like 3 kind of quite physical players. So they're a bit of a miss. But I think for Kilmarnock at home, I wanted to see Tav back at right back to offer a bit more going forward, because we will have a lot of possession. And I was expecting Scott Olsen to be at the team tonight. He needs his minutes matched. He's played not 2 full games, but he's played 2 games in a week there. So I think he'll definitely come on maybe about, the hour mark, another half an hour tonight for the bench, and maybe look a bit fresher for the minutes he's played in the last couple of weeks. But yeah, I think if you look at the bench, that's a strong bench. I think whenever you look at a team, you also look at the bench, and there's a lot in reserve there. So, yeah, I'm quite confident. And as Dino's mentioned, Moore there, I think he was our only real attacking threat at the weekend. So hopefully he continues that and really goes at it. Because Miovski, he needs a lot of support because he's not. I don't think he's a lone striker, so he's going to need somebody to really play in beside him. So, yeah, it's a decent team, a good balance about it. And, yeah, hopefully Diamande can continue his form as well, because I was surprised he never played at the weekend. The way he's played the last month, I'd definitely have him starting. So, yeah, glad to see him back as well.
Yeah, no, wise words, Stevie, wise words. Billy, do you think this is probably the strongest bench we've probably had in years, in a sense? Looking at that bench, you've got, obviously there's some players there that are a bit of an unknown quantity in Romans, Nadiri, obviously, Skov Olsen's been a bit slower into the game, but, players sometimes do that coming up to Scotland. Obviously, Chukwani looked fairly decent as well in the last game. Strongest bench in a while, do you think?
Strongest bench in a while. I don't know if I can say for sure it's been the strongest in many years, but certainly in recent games, we could have been doing with some game changers on the bench. And that looks like, again, the 4 new signings, they are unknown quantities to a degree. I know a couple of them have played already. Skov Olsen, I was kind of expecting him to come out, although, because he's been injured and he's only kind of getting back into it. And I'd read earlier on, there was a comment online that Sterling was going to be in the fan zone. And I felt then that this will just be completely, he's coming back from injury himself. He always wants to come back and earlier than he should and ends up going off injured again. So I just think this is, with Tav being probably more beneficial for this game with the attacking presence. Stevie's mentioned it going forward. He certainly gets forward a lot more than Sterling, so I don't see any kind of issue with Sterling being taken out. The Chamiti is the one we really need to find out about, because if it's I guess we've got a new striker in, but we want the three strikers to be working together in training, working together to form partnerships. Because the manager did suggest we might play a two up front, so I'd like all three of them to be fit.
I do agree, and actually there was some quite interesting comments from the manager, Dino, that there was the possibility of us possibly utilising two number 10s and then two strikers, similar to the way that the kind of Red Bull teams kind of play. Some of the other bigger teams like Bayern Munich kind of do that as well. You kind of see it out there in Germany. And there was a good comment here from Baron Loyal. It'll be interesting to see if this is 4-2-3-1 or 4-2-2-2, like he said in his previous presser. Do you think it could be a kind of 4-2-2-2, if you can even say it?
No, I think it's going to be the former 4-2-3-1. I think you would see the 4-2-2 if there was Miovski and Nadiri both playing. But in terms of like when Chamiti comes back, what I would actually like to see is the manager trying Chamiti in the 10 and Nadiri and Miovski up top, because Chamiti's came onto a game sample last few months, which we've obviously all seen and agreed on. But he's came onto a game where he's been able to hold up the ball. He's actually looking quite threatening in positions, being able to bring players into play players on, getting the odd goal. He comes away from the centre forward position far too much for me, and that's kind of the positions that I want a number 10 to be taken up. No, not number 9. And Miovski previously at Aberdeen was really a box centre forward, wasn't he? Fox in the box type. So that's something I'd like to see. But on tonight, I think it's going to be a 4-2-3-1.
4-2-3-1. There we go. Now, I was just having a little look back to the last time we actually played Kilmarnock, which was Danny Rule's first domestic game in charge. And I was looking at the team then because I was expecting it to be quite significantly different, but actually the core of it is pretty much the same. So in that game, it was Butland in goal, Tavernier, Suter and Cornelius in that kind of back three that would kind of go to like a back five out of possession. Midfield, you had Gassama, Raskin, Diamande, Asgard, Magoma, Danilo and Miovski. So obviously Danilo now no longer with us, and obviously Cornelius out injured. But actually that core of that team isn't it's pretty much the same one that won 3-1 there in October. Do you think that's a good omen?
You didn't ask anyone, Andrew.
Oh, sorry, did I not say Stevie? Sorry, Stevie, that's me. I'm half asleep. Sorry, Stevie, pal.
No, you're fine. It shows consistency, which I guess is a good thing. My only real concern is Asgard. He really was an empty jersey at the weekend. I would have liked to have seen him drop out and Bajrami get a chance. I feel like the two of them, I know he's not the most popular player, but I feel like the two of them, he gives you a bit more dynamism, just he's a bit more kind of, things will happen. Better movement as well. So to me, that team, I think Asgard, although he scored a few important goals, I can't take that away from him recently. I feel he's really got to step it up again. He's improved slightly in the last few weeks. But for me, Raskin as well, even he was dreadful at the weekend, so he's got to step it up. But those two in particular, for me, we need to see a performance of them tonight, Raskin and Asgard in particular. If not, their jackets are on a sugly peg because you've got Chuck Warney sitting right there, waiting to come on. Even Antman as well. I'd be happy to see him get a chance, because you look at the improvement that Rowe's made in so many of the players. If Antman's now fit, you'd like to think that he can have the same effect on him. So, yeah, the competition is definitely going to benefit us in the next 3 months.
Billy, do you reckon, now you look at the type of player that Asgard is, obviously there's a lot of chat about Asgard at the minute. He scored some fairly decent goals. However, he has been, in some big games, he's been quite anonymous. He seems to be better against teams that kind of pack their defence and kind of try and stop us. He's got some good nimble footwork. Do you think this could be the type of game for him where he can shine?
It's so hit and miss. the Aberdeen game, which you might think's a kind of a attritional type game, I thought he was really good, really strong, took his goal really well. It was a good finish. And then at the weekend, I remember watching highlights, but not highlights, but halftime kind of highlights of the Hibs game, and Hibs broke into the box, and he just wanders away from. I don't know what he's doing. It's like he doesn't know what's going on. He doesn't see the danger, and he just walks away from a player busting into the box. So it's for me, he's hit and miss. He's not what I thought he was going to be. For the size of him, he's not showing the strength that he maybe needs to show, and you know, he needs to start showing that on a regular basis. As I don't know if yourself or Steve is saying, they're on a sugary peg. That's if he's not contributing enough, then there's no point in him being here. But he's not one I'm happy to see on the team sheet. I maybe would have liked Chuck Wani in there, just to get a better look at him and see if he can provide a bit more than what Asgard is doing, because he's not doing it. He's doing wee bits and flashes, and he's skillful. But for me, it's the heart and the determination and the grit that he's not got.
Yeah, no, I don't think you're wrong there. It's been a very, very mixed bag from Asgard at the minute, and he does have other players breathing down his neck now, so there's no better motivation than to start performing. So let's go through some stats versus Kilmarnock. So our last 9 home meetings versus Kilmarnock have all been won by Rangers, so I don't know if that's a good omen or not, because getting to the 10 always seems to be quite tricky in Scotland, but we've had an aggregate score of 25-4, so obviously we've scored quite a lot of goals against Kilmarnock at home. We've only conceded 4 in those 9 games, so that's a pretty good omen. We're not doing too badly defensively at the minute. You look through that month of January in the league, and we actually only conceded 1 goal, which was at Parkhead, which is actually quite dramatically impressive considering how we were under the previous head coach. Kilmarnock, they've lost 13 of their last 15 league matches against Rangers overall. So despite, the fear we used to have, I think it's more when we go to Rugby Park, we have that fear of the pitch, the fear of injuries and all sorts, but another good stat there. And Kilmarnock are winless in their last 9 away games. There's 9 again. There we go. This is starting to become something, isn't it? So they've drawn 3, lost 6 since the 2-0 win at Dundee United in September. Yes, Paul, I might have. I'll go into hiding if we drop points in this one. But Stevie, what do you reckon tonight? Do you think this is a Rangers win tonight? And if so, what's the score for you?
I hope so. But I've got a really bad record of predicting results. So last time before we played Dundee, I said I'd bite your hand off for a 1-0 clean sheet, 3 points. I'd absolutely take that again, and hopefully it ends up 3-0. But yeah, just start on the front foot. The first whistle, really go at it, set the tempo, and as Dino said before, get ahead early and then put our foot on their throat and really make the quality count. Just give the players that platform. And I would say after the Hearts defeat at Tynecastle before Christmas, we responded really well. Now, I know we never lost at the weekend, but almost felt like a defeat the way we played. So I expect a similar bounce back, good reaction for the players. That's what I'm expecting. So yeah, 3 points, a clean sheet. I'd be delighted, especially with them not playing. Pile the pressure on, because too many times we have blown the chance. And it pains me to say it, but Chris Sutton on 5 Live last weekend, he was saying Rangers always bottle it, and honestly, I was raging, but he was right. So we need to start proving people like him wrong, and tonight's the perfect opportunity.
Do you know what? It is a huge opportunity tonight, because I remember during the 55 season where they had a couple of postponed games and they started to not necessarily pile up, but once you've got the points on the board, they have to win those games just to get back up to where you are. So it is huge. There's no room for error when you do that. So I do totally agree. I just hope we take the game by the scruff of the neck tonight and do make sure that we're not losing this opportunity. So yeah, no, definitely Stevie. Dino, what's your prediction for tonight, mate?
I like Stevie. It's not going to be much goals in it, I don't think. I want there to be, but I think it'll be 2-1 to us.
2-1. So you think we're going to, that defensive record is it's going to concede tonight?
Just with seeing Giga in the team, I just kind of think he's got a bomb scare in him, and I know Suter has, but Suter's played better than he has worse this season, whereas Giga's played worse than he has better this season. So and that's what I think tonight. And also, I just think with Raskin, he doesn't need to come as deep in the six. He slows the game down. I just want to see the head up direct, but I've just got a funny feeling that's not going to be the case tonight. Right, 2-1.
2-1. What do you reckon, Billy? What do you reckon scoreline tonight?
It is cold out there, so you've got to kind of factor that. And I know they're professional football players and they do the warm up, but I've just come in from being out in the garage, and I wouldn't like to be playing football on a night like this. But with that said, if we come out the traps, and that's the thing, we're too Jekyll and Hyde when it comes to that. If we come out the traps, though, it's a stereotypical thing. Someone's on the end of a hiding at some point soon from us. It needs to happen. So yeah, I'm going to be pessimistic, optimistic, and say yeah, there's going to be a few goals in it for us, and we're going to keep a clean sheet. I don't want to specify how many, but at least 3.
Do you know what? I'm going 3-0 as well. That's kind of what I have in my head. I've been feeling it's going to be a 3-0. I don't know how, I don't know why. It just feels like a nice rounded number. And I'm hoping our new striker gets on in the second half and scores and gets his account up and running. So that would be quite nice. As he's saying there, hopefully Nadiri gets on. I do totally agree. You're right. That's it, guys. That's it for the pre-match. We've got our predictions in. Don't forget, guys, if you ever are in Lanzarote, head down to Bluebells in Puerto del Carmen. They're lovely guys down there. You'll get a great drink. You'll get the Rangers games, and you'll get sun, sea, and sand. So I don't know what more you can want. But there we go. And I'd just like to thank everyone on the pod. Billy, thank you, mate, for coming on.
No, good. I'd love to be on before the match.
That's it. All the positivity and everything. It's brilliant, and we'll see what happens at the end of the game. But yeah, thanks for coming on, Billy. Stevie, thank you for coming on, mate. I can't even say it, and it's been good to see you, mate. Been too long.
Thanks, Andrew. Thanks for hosting it. Thanks to everybody in the comments. It's much appreciated. Thanks for taking part.
Yes, indeed. Thanks to everyone in the comments. There's been loads of comments coming in tonight, so guys, keep those coming in, and it is really good to see everyone in the comments there. And Dino, last but not least, look at you with that cheeky grin. Thanks for coming on, big man.
Pleasure and privilege as always, my man.
Look at that. What a guy. Every night's a Rangers Journal night. Hopefully Rangers win. Come on, let's do this, guys. Take care.